So I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to be cooking. See, I love to cook. I didn't know how to put it on this channel, but because it's a gardening channel, it's the pagan garden. But I'm going to cook New England boiled dinner for you guys. And hopefully you'll like it as much as I do, because it's a classic. It's amazing. I put a few minor twists of it on it of my own, but it's very delicious. And since my mom's in town, I figured it was appropriate. She flew all the way out from Maine, come visit. You might actually see her in an upcoming episode. So stay tuned to the channel and stay tuned to this, because I'm sure you're going to love it. Now let me show you what we've got. Alright, we've got potatoes. Just however many potatoes you need. 3 onions, 2 heads of garlic, 1 head of cabbage, coriander, salt, pepper, carrots, and then the main star of the dish, a brisket. Now this is about 4.5 pounds. I'm feeding 5 people. That's about the right ratio for you. You want a little bit under 1 pound per person, that way everybody can have some, and then there's leftovers. And I always do, depending on the size of the potatoes, 1 or 2 potatoes per person. I usually do half as many onions as I'm doing people, but 5.5, 2.5, and that doesn't make sense. I do just a couple of heads of garlic, no matter how big the dish is, because it will add a lot of flavor. And then the cabbage, you only need 1 head. It goes a long way. But the cabbage is crucial to this dish. Otherwise you don't have a boiled dinner. Now, let's get to preparing this thing. So I wanted to start out by making a quick mention here to Patricia Telesco. She made this beautiful Kitchen Witch companion book. Now I'm not a kitchen witch. I'm more of an out in the field doing my work kind of magic person. But this is a phenomenal book for anybody who wants to add a little bit of magic to their cooking. Patricia Telesco, The Kitchen Witch Companion. Look it up. It's amazing. She also made a Kitchen Witch's cookbook, which I have yet to pick up, but I'm sure it's just as awesome. Now, for those non-pagans who watch my channel, this should be your best friend. This is a mortar and pestle, for those who don't know what it is. And this is perfect for breaking up seasonings, like coriander. Coriander whole on a piece of meat doesn't really distribute that much flavor. But coriander busted up in a mortar and pestle and rubbed onto a piece of meat, phenomenal. Now the meat we're working with today is a piece of brisket I just picked up at Whole Foods yesterday. And if you look, it is probably the best brisket I have seen in a long, long time. It's amazing. Perfect marbling on the meat. Perfect size for what I'm doing. And you can tell it's got this nice vein of fat that runs through the middle. Now don't worry, all this fat's going to be stewed out of the piece of meat. But for what we're doing right now, we're going to rub it down with some salt, some pepper, and some coriander. We're going to stick it in this other amazingly powerful kitchen implement, cast iron frying pan. This cast iron frying pan has been with me since I've been on my own. So, what, maybe a decade or so? And it has done wonders. If you take care of it, it'll be the best nonstick pan you've ever used. Ever. Ceramic, Teflon, nothing compares to a cast iron pan. Not only that, but if you clean it right, take care of it right, it has its own history. Nothing that you cook in any other pan is ever going to taste the same as what you cook in your own cast iron. I'm going to have to try to do this one-handed because I don't have a fancy camera stand like some people. And I don't have those awesome camera glasses that I saw on Amazon. So, take some of the coriander seeds. Put them in here. Pesto. Break it up. Now when I'm doing this, I'm quietly telling the seeds to release all their goodness and calling on their central element, being the coriander, it's earth, I believe, because they're an earthy spice, to empower them. But if you're not magical, you don't have to do that. It'll taste just about as good. I do think it adds a little something to put the extra care into it. You know, if you're Christian, you can do the same thing. Matter of fact, Christians, before the advent of timers, did do the same thing. Only they said their Hail Marys or whatever else that was appropriate for their religion at the time. And they, matter of fact, if you look back, you can find recipes that call for your food to sit in for a certain number of Hail Marys, which I thought was interesting. Alright, so now that we've got crushed up coriander, see? Right down there. Can you smell that? No, of course not. Smell-o-vision doesn't exist yet. Dang, it is so good smelling. Alright, so take the coriander, sprinkle it on the meat, just all over the meat. You do this with about half of it, so you have reserved the other half here. Now, you can't crack the salt and pepper one-handed. It ain't happening. So, I'm going to set you down. Mention, if you're using regular iodized salt, don't use as much as I am. I'm using Himalayan pink salt. It's nowhere near as salty as regular iodized salt. It has a lot of extra stuff in it, extra minerals and whatnot in it, and it has an amazing flavor. I love pink salt, but don't go pounding tons of iodized salt on this. It'll taste nasty. You'll get like a over-salted corned beef if you do that, and it won't be good. Alright, so the pan is heating up, and it's not hot yet. How I know? I can still touch it. So we wait. And I'll be back when it's ready. It's hot. It's starting to smoke. Just barely. This is something you'll notice about your cast iron pan that you won't notice about anything else. When it's just hot enough, you can see this tiny, tiny wisps of smoke blowing off of it. Now we have the meat. Stuff it in there, put it in the pan. Ah! Stay. Stay. Good. Alright, so we're going to sear it on this side. Now let it cook. Hear it screaming? All the steam and everything coming off of it? That's a good thing. It means the pan's nice and hot. Now my stove has a range of numbers, and I'm on about 7. Your stove, whatever that comes to, that's what you should have it at, so that it's hot enough to do some decent searing. Now I got some bloody fingers again. Wash my hands real quick so that we don't contaminate everything. See? Hand washing is very, very important. If you're cooking and you don't wash your hands, don't invite me over for dinner. Because, no offense, I don't want to die. Dry my hands on the towel. Put this bloody cutting board in here, touching only the orange part, which didn't have any blood on it. Don't touch the cutting board itself. Alright, I need to grab some tongs. I'll be right back. You gotta let it cook on one side for a little bit. I'm not trying to cook the whole thing through. We're just trying to make sure that these seasonings we pounded into the meat, oh so gently, actually stay on the meat for a good portion of the cooking process. Grab the big piece of meat, flip it over. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Look at that. Get this nice caramelization of the fat. That's going to add flavor. You get all this browning on the meat. That adds flavor. And you got the seasonings seared into the meat. Now you do lose some seasoning, which is another reason why it was liberal with the seasoning. You lose some seasoning when you sear it. But not that much. Sit back and wait. It takes a little bit of time. I might fast forward. Yeah, I'm going to fast forward. Okay, it's done. Grab the piece of meat. Check it. Beautiful sear. Drop it in the bottom of your pan. And this is where all the fun is going to happen. Now, I have a giant stock pot. If you don't have such a giant stock pot, don't use such a giant piece of meat. It's just as easy to use a slow cooker to make this. So use your slow cooker. Okay? This here, I'm not going to use it for anything, but it does make damn good base for sauteing some onions or anything else you want to do. So, right now, I'm going to cut up the vegetables. So, cabbage. Cabbage is easy. A couple of tricks I wanted to show you with cabbage. Now, I'm doing this one-handed, but peel off the outermost leaf. Check it. Make sure there's no brown or anything on it. And take it, stem side down, and do this. Smash it. Because then you should be able to take the core right out of it when you cut it open. Apparently this isn't as easy as I remember. So
it's easier when you have two hands.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it in half. Right? Cut it in half again. Take the pieces, throw them in the pot. This is why this meal is awesome, because it's easy. Okay? This one I'm actually leaving the core in. I didn't show you this. Look. The core is tiny on this one. So I don't even need to worry about it. Throw it in the pot. In the pot. Everything goes in the pot. Except for the old leaf from the outside. Everything goes in the pot. Now, cutting onions is easy. You don't know how to cut onions? You can find a bunch of videos on YouTube. Because YouTube teach you anything. I don't have the camera equipment or the extra set of arms to film this. So I'm going to just slice up the onions, peel the skin off the garlic, throw it all in the pot. And the potatoes, all throw them in the pot. Really easy. Potatoes in the pot. See? Everything goes in here. And then everything gets smothered in water, which I'll do in a second, and we cook it. Okay, so now we go to the final step. We've got the garlic, which I only used one, because I was looking at proportions and one turned out to be better. So take this other one, throw it away. Well, throw it off to the side. Use it later. I forgot the carrots. Good thing I put the camera right where it is. Because they're right there. Behind. Can you hand me those? They're right behind you. Right there. Right. Yes, right there. Good, thank you. Carrots. Now, most of this is by eye. So, I just add the carrots till I think there's enough. That seems like enough. Alright. Now, this is called New England boiled dinner, so we need our last ingredient. Our last ingredient is, of course, the boil, the water. Take a big container, fill it up, pour it in here. This next part, I'm going to go fast again. And stop. There. Forget the water. Just barely covering the veg in the pot. The vegetables floating. That's fine. Put the stove on high. Cover it. And then leave it alone. In a couple of hours, you will have beautiful New England boiled dinner and an amazing broth, which you can stick in a stock container and stick in your freezer, or use it for half a dozen other things in the kitchen in the next week or so. But I will come back when this is done and we will look at what we've got. Okay? I'll show you how to take it out, how to prepare it for everybody. About 2 hours or so. I put this in at 9. No, it's been about an hour. 9:45 to 10:53. It's been about an hour. Figured I would show you guys an update. Try not to steam up the camera. If only you could smell this. It is amazing smelling. The scent of the meat and the cabbage and the carrots and the onions and everything else we put in here. Just awesome. Awesome. Nothing more warming than some boiled dinner on a cold day. So I'm going to give you an update when it's all done, but I figured since I was here and since I was checking on it anyway, I'd let you guys check in with me. So we'll be right back. It's reduced by about a third. All the vegetables are cooked and ready to come out, and the meat is at the bottom of the pot. Now to take it out, what I do is I have a plate for veggies and a plate for meat, and one of these things. These are awesome for pulling stuff out. See, get in here under a piece of cabbage, strain it out. There you go. Now we're gonna have carrots in basically every scoop, but I try to segment the vegetables out so that people can have the ones they want. Now I'm gonna take all the vegetables out, and then I'll pull the meat out and show you guys what it looks like. I separated. I ended up with a lot more vegetables in there than I thought I had. Them's all the carrots, and cabbage and potatoes, and cabbage, carrots, potatoes, onions. And there's the meat. Now, it looks pretty whole, but with very little effort, you can slice a piece right off. See? Look. And that is fall apart soft. It's awesome. So I'm going to serve up a plate, show you guys what it looks like. Oh, and this liquid gold, because this right here is all the juice from that brisket. Makes a beautiful soup, which I might do later. But the good thing to do here is if you want a low-fat broth, put it in the fridge. Pull all the fat off the top. It's going to turn to jelly, but that's fine because you got a lot of gelatin in there from the meat. So, in the connective tissue in the meat. So, that's good. But let me go ahead and serve up a plate. Boiled dinner. This is very traditional, very delicious, and great on cold days, but not always happen to be on cold days. So, this is the type of cooking I'm going to be doing for you guys over the next couple of weeks, as I feel up to it, because I don't really know what all to cook for you guys. But any suggestions of things you want me to cook, let me know. I'll throw them together and record it, because I'm up to cook anything. But I want to get to eating, because this is delicious. So, thank you for watching, and thank you again for stopping by the Pagan Kitchen for Balthazar's Pagan Garden channel. Have a nice day.